Hi guys, I just wanted to start off by letting you know that this is my first video in quite some time, so I apologize in advance for some of the wonky cuts and other weirdness you may experience while watching it. I've got kind of new equipment and I am learning as I go. This video is for the Scrapbooking with Me boutiques 12 days of Christmas tutorials. And so what I'm doing here is making a 6x6 photo frame type of card. So what I'm first doing is I'm using the Prima Epiphany collection. I basically bought everything that the store had for sale, I guess maybe a year ago or maybe even more. And what I'm doing is I'm taking one of the 12 by 12 sheets and cutting it down to 6 by 12 and then scoring it to be a 6 by 6 final size. Cut in half and then scored in half. You can do this with any sheet of paper you'd like. I chose this one because it was the one that I had that I felt had the most neutral colors in it. Then what I end up doing is just going through the pack of paper, and as you can see, I've not opened this collection yet since I purchased it however long ago. So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity because it is something that I bought quite a bit of from the boutique, and I really just didn't ever use any of it. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to use it because of the fact that it has a lot of muted colors, which I think lends itself great to non-traditional Christmas themes. And it doesn't look like it's going to become Christmas, but at the end, the very end, you'll see it's absolutely easy to turn a lot of non-traditional colors into and to make it a Christmas theme. So I'm just selecting the papers that I'm going to use here. And once I've selected a couple, what I do with one of them is I will cut it down to be the frame. So I basically do some fussy cutting. So the one that you see down now is the one that I'm going to be fussy cutting. And that's what I basically turn into the frame of the photo frame portion of the card. Because the Prima 6x6 pads are true 6x6 pads, I have to cut down the headers that come in the pack in order to make it like a true 6x6. And so what you see here is just foam on the back of the fussy cut piece. So that's the piece of paper that it came from. And what I just did was I cut some very thin strips of foam and I glued them to 3 edges of the distressed the edges, and then I used some of the Prima chalk inks to add some color to the edges after distressing it. What I'm doing here is I'm just cutting down the insert portion of the frame piece. I measure this to be approximately about 4.5. If you are using a different kind of border or frame, then obviously you would have to measure to the size of your own frame. Once I've cut down the insert piece, I go ahead and glue down the border. And once again, I used foam, not very thick, like very, in my opinion, it's very thin foam for the borders that I just grabbed from my stash. Like when sometimes you use it for packaging, a really great idea to reuse like cardboard if you have boxes or packaging that you may receive from orders that you may place, that kind of stuff. Just cut off some of the box flaps and there you go. That's another alternative. And so that's just showing you that the insert that I cut out fits inside of the frame that I that I cut out. And what I did was add some floral, I guess, trim, bead trim, floral bead trim. I have no idea what this stuff is called. I I'm just hot gluing that to some of the edges in order to give it a bit more dimension. If you've seen any of my other videos, which I know were made quite some time ago, but if you've seen any of them, you'll know that I love dimension on everything that I do. I just, yeah, I can't go without dimension, and it causes pain when I want to mail things, but I can't help myself. It's just what I like. So I'm just adding this trim to the edges of the the inner edges of the card frame. And I'm keeping the insert in the frame in order to see what may or may not be covered up by the trim as I place it down, just in case something may end up covered up. The only thing I might suggest when doing that is to be super careful when you're gluing things down where they may overlap into the space where the insert is placed. And I say that because what you may end up having is glue on your insert, which is not what you want. And actually that's what happened here. Was I got a little bit of glue on the insert. So I'm just finishing up getting the trim down, and I don't go all the way around. I just have it at the sides, and that's just so I can have something, that little bit of dimension. And once again, careful of the glue on your insert if you're going to glue while the insert is in the frame. So now I'm just going to measure down or cut off rather, the top of the 6x6 insert piece. Nothing fancy, just cutting it off. Once you put the 6x6 insert, or the 6x4.5 insert into the frame, you'll notice that the difference in height is really the amount of foam that you have at the bottom of the frame. And I just use my corner rounder to make the edges not square. So I'm using the same color chalk ink edger that I used for the frame to do the edges of the insert as well. I'm not doing anything else with in terms of decorating the insert. I'm keeping all of the decoration to the outer part of the frame. I'm using the ephemera pack that comes with this collection, or came with this collection. I don't think you can get this collection anymore, but I just try to go through in order to see what I can use that is already included, because in my personal experience, I always feel like it's easier to create when the supplies that you're given are part of the kit or part of the collection. I've always been that way, and it just makes things easier for me in my own mind. So what I go about doing right now is just taking all of the sequins that came in the ephemera pack and gluing them down randomly to the frame. I realized at this point that my card was upside down, so I was really happy I didn't put down anything directional before I realized that. But yeah, so I'm just gluing down the sequins using Scotch quick dry adhesive. I'm pretty sure I've had this glue for eons. I just haven't been using it. I've been using a lot of 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac lately, so this was nice to pull out some collections and tools and supplies that I haven't used recently. And so everything you see here is using the Epiphany ephemera pack from Prima. I've used nothing else thus far in making this. Actually, sorry, I shouldn't say nothing else. The only thing else that I've used is that floral trim around the edge, but everything else is from the Epiphany ephemera pack. So that butterfly that I'm using is once again from the ephemera pack, and I just hot glue that down to the card where you see it. I will then be adding a sequin and a flat back pearl to the butterfly. I just check to see if the insert fits nicely and with the additional butterfly that I've added. And now what I'm just trying to do is find a top piece to the insert, so something you can hold on to pull it out, or and also something to allow it to hook, I guess, onto the frame so it stays in place. So what I ended up doing is that bird cage that you see at the top, that becomes almost like the handle to the insert, and you'll see how I just use a dab of hot glue to keep it down. This little pen, I thought this, I guess it's a fountain pen nib. I thought it looked good at the bottom. The bottom seemed a little bit bare to me, so I just added this little pen for a little bit of extra, something. So once again, as I said, that bird cage, I ink the edges, as you can see, and then I just hot glue it straight to the insert piece there. And that insert piece, obviously, you can put whatever you would like on the insert piece. I would put I would use that insert piece as the sentiment, perhaps, if you're giving the card as something you'd like for the recipient to be able to reuse. I think this is a really good idea to for cards like that. And also, if you want to put a photo in that space instead of having, an image that may be stamped, or basically in order to allow you some flexibility as to what you have on the front of your card, I think this gives you a lot more option as to what you can or can't put on the front of your card. So once, as I mentioned earlier, just adding the sequin here and grabbing some of the flat back pearls to add to it. I got this flower of flat back pearls also from the Scrapbooking with Me boutique. I don't think I will ever run out of these things. These are the flat back pearls that just last forever, and they were just such a great deal. And I think they were limited when we were able to buy them. They had very, very limited stock available. But in any case, that's what I use on the top of the butterfly. And then just now trying to decide if there was anything else I wanted to do to the card after I had gotten this far. I just put I decided to flip through the ephemera to see if there was anything, I wanted to add to the corner, maybe to the top. Couldn't really find anything that worked for what I wanted or the look I wanted it to be. So I just put everything back, and then I moved on. So what I end up doing after I decide to add some of the holiday trim or holiday ribbon to the card, and this is, as I said, one of the reasons why I like these kinds of cards, because I'm adding the holiday ribbon to the insert, and what that allows me to do is to possibly use this card again for something that isn't holiday related. So, as I said, you don't have to worry about using a non-traditional card in a holiday way by having this photo frame option. And I think, once again, it's one of the most versatile ways to have your card set up. Well, anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I am doing a giveaway for the 12 days of Christmas YouTube tutorials. I hope to be putting out a few more videos in 2017. And so Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy New Year. All right, take care, guys. Bye.